of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll. Here?
Here.
Here.
Here. Here.
Here. Here. Nothing under the mayor's report. Any of the councilors have anything to add? Seeing none, will clerk please call resolution 93.
Approve minutes common council meeting held March 14th, 2022.
Councilor Cordino, Councilor Gozick, any comments? Will clerk please call the roll?
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Counselor McBurdy. Yes. Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Will clerk please call resolution 94?
Approve use of public space Brittany Rupert for a wedding ceremony at Brightbeck Park to be held on October 1st, 2022.
Councilor McBurdy, Councilor Hill, any comments? Clerk please call the roll.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Counselor McBurdy. Yes. Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk please call resolution 95.
Authorize public hearing, RE proposed local law number 1 of the year 2022, a local law amending Chapter 59, alcoholic beverages, synthetic drugs, and social hosts of the Code of the City of Oswego, New York.
Councilor Hill, Councilor Plunkett. This is the local law that covers the proposed social district that we talked about quite a bit at committee last week. I'll just, I may not be here at the next council meeting when this is approved, so I just want to, again, clarify some of the things that maybe have popped up in the last week. I think personally, what? No, I won't be here. Personally, my office hasn't really received a whole lot of pushback or negative feedback on this. I've had, as I said last week, quite a good response, and some business owners have seemed to be very supportive and happy over the idea. But regardless, you hear some chit-chat, and I'd say in the last week, really the three main concerns, I guess, at committee, and since then that I've heard are about this district. Well, first, the misconception. People think we're lifting the open container and it's just going to be a free-for-all, and that is not what we're talking about. What we're doing is leaving the open container ordinance in place citywide. There is no exception to that other than a tweak in the rules in this social district, and the tweak in that rule is not lifting the open container in the district. It's that if somebody is leaving a restaurant, they can have, and they order a drink to go, it can go in a cup that can leave the restaurant. So no cans of beer, no bottles of beer, no bottles of vodka. It's simply a mixed drink in a cup that you can now walk out of the restaurant with and go within the district. So the idea that we're lifting the open container, and there's going to be drunk people all over. I mean, I don't know when the last time the speakers last week or anybody has been to the Bistro or Southern Fare or La Perilla or Rooftop. I visit these places not often, but on occasion. And if you look around the room, I just don't see the demographic and the clientele in these establishments being the demographic or clientele that are going to walk out stumbling down West 1st Street or West 2nd Street or Bridge Street. I also don't see them being the demographic or clientele that's going to throw the cup on the sidewalk. We have a lot of city events, the 4th of July parade and the 4th of July block party, where we lifted the open container totally. That really was a party. You could have cans and bottles. After those events, I didn't really see a whole lot of garbage after. So, and that's not even, we're comparing apples to oranges there. So this is much more controlled. It's a certain targeted demographic. It's very much a way to support people to visit downtown and make a night of it. You can take your drink after eating and go catch the concert at Veterans Stage. veteran stage, we actually opened the open container ordinance is lifted there anyway, so, or walk down to Brightbeck or the marina, or throughout the farmer's market if it's a Thursday night. So that is just a kind of a misnomer that's developing, I think, from people who really don't understand what we're talking about. The second concern I've heard with any sort of consistency, albeit rare, is litter. Again, I don't think we're talking about that demographic or clientele. I mean, you know, my parents, as everyone well knows, were in the concession business, and they've set up at the farmer's market for 30 years selling snow cone cups, snow cones and lemonade, both of which are put in plastic and paper cups. And I don't know, Thursday night, Friday morning, you don't see downtown filled with snow cone and lemonade cups, and they're kids, you know, who maybe you would see throw on the sidewalk. So, again, just doesn't fit. I mean, let's face it, there's people downtown and walking the Riverwalks all the time. That has nothing to do with this social district, and they can or may not litter just like the rest of us if they're carrying a wrapper or something that they carry. So I don't know why there's a distinction between people in the social district leaving a restaurant with a cup, they're going to litter, but the general public walking down West First Street or down the Riverwalks, they don't litter, or they do, or I don't know. So I lose that argument. That I lose that somewhere in the weeds. And then lastly, I guess the one concern that was brought up last week that I wasn't prepared for, because I think it's, you know, I guess it just eluded me, I never thought of it, was the hoarding of these cups. Again, my parents sat at the farmer's market for 30 years. We have Harbor Fest and 4th of July parade as well. They sell lemonade for $5 if you keep your cup. Next Thursday, you can come to the farmer's market and get your lemonade for half price. Emily, how many people come and keep the cup and get half price, and they could save $2.50? Virtually nobody. So this idea, and that's actually a big plastic nice cup, costs like $1 for us to buy. These 16-ounce plastic cups cost like a nickel for a restaurant to buy, but I just don't see people hoarding these cups, and I don't even see to do what with, to take the cup back into the restaurant and have them refill it. You're still paying the same amount. You know, so I kind of lose it there as well. I guess you could keep the cup so you can fill it with your own drink at home and walk around then, but, you know, walk to the social district. So I don't know. I guess I lose it. And again, the percentage of people, of course there's an exception every so often, but to try to take this really abstract exception and use it as a reason to criticize this district, it's just not a coherent thought to me, but I suppose I could be missing something. And then, again, I said it last week, but it seems like, you know, and a lot of times it's the same people who take the same approach and the same attitude to almost everything we've done the last 6 years. You know, we go to build some apartment buildings, more development than the city's seen in decades, and all of a sudden we're real picky at what's being built. You build higher-end housing in Latotro and Riverwalk, and people say, the rents are too high, nobody's going to live in them. They're full, but nobody's going to live in them. Who can afford to live in them? We need more affordable housing. Then you turn around, we build East Lake Commons and Harborview Square, which is affordable housing, and they say, oh, it's low-income housing, or who's going to live in all these apartments? So you really can't win, and I understand that, but, you know, sometimes you should take some of these ideas and embrace them rather than just be so negative against them and hope that they fail. You know, so you build apartments, there's criticism there. The bird scooters, like I said last week, not to go into it, you would have thought the sky was falling with the introduction of e-scooters into this community last year. I mean, some of the things I've heard, the things I just outlined, these 3 points, drunk people, litter, and the hoarding of cups, sound to me pretty ridiculous, but I think the bird scooters, some of the stuff I heard then even beat this. And I think looking back after 1 year, they've gone over quite well. I get the data on ridership. It's through the roof. We put them out last week, and when it was 50 degrees out, I enjoy riding the scooters, but not when it's 50 degrees, and I see people riding them. I mean, they serve as a safe, reliable method of transportation for folks who may not have cars. They serve as a source of fun for kids or families in parks. And I don't know what the negative is here a year later. Some people do get irritated that they see a scooter laying there. Maybe I have a lot on my mind, but that's just not that offensive of a thing to me. And then the last point, two more points. The social district, I'd love to say it's an idea I thought of on my own, but the fact is it's successfully done in many other communities across the nation. I've done a little bit of traveling since COVID ended, just to get out and about after 2 years of not traveling, and it's becoming fairly common throughout the nation. So, I think people know by now I try to be progressive and be ahead of the curve and subject this community to new things. I think it's paid off for 6-7 years now, and this is just another chapter, another version of trying to do just that. And then finally, I alluded to it earlier, talked about it last week, but we lift the open container for mass gatherings on a regular basis. 4th of July parade, not Harbor Fest, they used to, Farmers Market, Pocket Park concert series, the summer concert series, the Rock the Dot concerts, the fire pits. You can have alcohol at the fire pits. As I said last week, arguably holding a mass gathering and lifting the open container, you're almost provoking something to happen there, because you're inviting hundreds or thousands of people into an area, lifting the open container, presumably they're drinking, and lifting the open container, they can bring cans and beer and bring the cooler, and there is no control, on how much they can drink or how fast. And I go to those events, or at least get the reports on how the events went, and I don't know if in 6 years, 7 years, we've had a problem, related to drinking or lifting the open container. If we did, I wouldn't do it anymore. But we just haven't. And I think, again, it's apples to oranges, because this is it's a general, you can leave the restaurant with a cup and travel around. It's not a lot of people together. It's just people roaming around in the summer months. So if anything, I think there's less of a chance for trouble or drunk people or urinating in bushes or some of the other crazy things I've heard the last week, fighting. I think hopefully that clears things up. I was going to save this conversation for 2 weeks from now, but I won't be here. So I wanted to get that in the minutes and on the record now. And maybe if people watch this or read the minutes, the concerns will be curbed and understood, and they'll understand really what we're actually trying to do. I do think the segment of people we're talking about have their minds made up, and because they're the same, naysayers as I've run into a couple dozen times in the last 7 years. But hopefully that helps clarify any issues, and we can take the next 2 weeks, host the public hearing, see what comes of that, and take the vote on next council meeting. Any comments from the council? Seeing none? I did the motion in second, right? Mm-hmm. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty? Yes. Counselor Burridge?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 96.
Authorize mayor to sign an agreement with Labella Associates, DPC, for architectural and engineering design services for the Conway Municipal Center miscellaneous projects.
Counselor Cordino, Counselor Gozick. Any comments? Will clerk please call the roll?
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty? Yes. Counselor Burridge?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 97.
Authorize the purchase of pedestals to be used at the Cahill International Pier as part of the Ready Project.
Counselor McBrearty, Counselor Walker. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty? Yes. Counselor Burridge?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 98.
Authorize City Chamberlain to complete a transfer of funds from the sanitary sewer equipment account to the sanitary sewer contracted services account for the installation of a backup power generator at the DPW garage.
Counselor Burridge, Counselor Plunkett. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty? Yes. Counselor Burridge?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 99.
Authorize City Chamberlain to complete transfers of funds from the High Dam Equipment Account and the High Dam Repairs Account to the High Dam Contracted Services Account for professional services at the High Dam Hydroelectric Facility.
Counselor Gozick, Counselor Cordino, any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty? Yes. Counselor Burridge?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 100.
Authorize City Chamberlain to complete a transfer of funds within the City Clerk's office for a temporary records intern.
Counselor Burridge, Counselor Gozick, any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty? Yes. Counselor Burridge?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Will Clerk please call Resolution 101?
Waive rules of common council to present resolution number 102 from the floor without committee consideration.
Counselor Walker, Counselor Hill, any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty? Yes. Counselor Burridge?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Will Clerk please call Resolution 102?
Seek bids for the International Cahill Pier Ready project.
Counselor Burridge, Counselor Hill. This is the highly publicized, approximately $10 million International Cahill Pier renovation or transformation. We completed Phase 1 last week. Phase 1 was about $3.5 million in the installing sheet piling around the perimeter, reinforcing the actual pier itself, and stabilizing the structure. Had we not received this grant money and done and completed this work, I think that pier would have been condemned in 10 to 15 years as being unsafe and uninhabitable anyway. But glad to secure this money and get that phase of the project done. This is Phase 2. And this is really the phase that the public's been waiting for, where we'll actually transform the pier from a vacant gravel driveway to a pedestrian-oriented and friendly boardwalk where people can fish from it, walk out. We'll have some fire pits out at the end. We'll reinstall some of the docks that have been missing for a few years. So all we're doing tonight is authorizing our engineers. Delta Engineers finally finished up the design in the bid book late last week. So with not trying to hold it up for another 2 weeks, what I'd like to do is get permission tonight to turn it over to Onondaga to get it out to bid, hopefully the end of this week or early next week, and then the bid period will be 45 or 60 days, I can't remember which one. And hopefully we'll get those bids back and get a contractor in here to get Phase 2 done and get it open probably, I think it's ambitious, but September, October, if all goes well, which nothing ever goes well on projects this big, but we'll see, as I've learned. But we'll see what happens. If it'll certainly be an early spring 2023 opening at the latest. And then next year we'll talk about building the pavilion out there and doing an RFP for the bar restaurant. We get that done and the project will be complete, and I think this will really transform the waterfront. This is the biggest project, in my opinion, so far. I think it's my favorite, and I'm excited to get it done, so we'll be pushing this summer. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty? Yes. Counselor Burridge?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Any unfinished business to come before the council? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Counselor Plunkett, Counselor Gozick. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty? Yes. Counselor Burridge?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Meeting is adjourned.
Susan, I wasn't